Welcome to the Short Funk Podcast. I'm Tom Barbalet, and today a topic suggested by listener Dave Falkenberg. Dave and I have known each other for a few years now. Charming gentleman. If you're ever in Silicon Valley, look him up. Have lunch with him. He's well worth the effort. Dave asks about neuroatypicality in the Valley. What he's talking about is whether people in Silicon Valley think differently. Here's my particular take. I don't live in a glamorous neighborhood. I don't live next to engineers or managers or, project managers or directors or anything. On one side, I have a family that run a noodle house. On the other side, I have a fellow whose sister is a realtor and he makes signs for her. My perspective is the population of Silicon Valley, only a small portion of them are actually involved in tech. And the perspective that a lot of people are involved in tech in the Valley isn't supported by the numbers. There might be people that have greatly increased their general wealth through living in the Valley around tech companies, but few people I meet out in the general public work in tech. That being said, there is certainly a large group of folk that I have experience with when I lived in Los Gatos and when I lived in Campbell, and sometimes when I go into stores in a wide variety of areas in Silicon Valley that strike me, and this is a quaint South Australian term, as being nouveau riche. Nouveau riche means new money. It means that you haven't had money in the past and you've come to Silicon Valley and been able to gain money, and that typically creates a culture of bad behavior. I don't necessarily think about the Bay Area in terms of brilliant minds. There are a few brilliant minds here, but in general I think of the Bay Area as being a bunch of people that have a wide variety of different perspectives and somehow manage to survive together. Those that have made money and that you notice in the general public typically slightly irksome, and that is all I'm going to say about that. But like many things, you can have a crowd of tourists, and it's the one obnoxious tourist that makes you think that that person represents the nation from which they came, and all the quiet tourists are just doing their own thing and not being obnoxious at all are completely ignored through this. And I'm willing to take that perspective with regards to the folks in Silicon Valley, because certainly I've met a number of them and only a small percentage are objectionable. I really think that many parts of the US are much of the same muchness, and certainly on the West Coast, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything neuroatypical associated with folks in Silicon Valley. If at all, it's just a large population of people, many of whom who've been able to gain some wealth based on the fact that they lived in an area where software and hardware was made. And there's a small group who have actively participated in some aspect of that thing. So, Dave Falkenberg, maybe I've answered your question, maybe I haven't. This is Tom Barbalet in San Jose, signing out.